right, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely August rushed to get this on the air because we're back in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform, and most certainly all music and wrestling matters. Sportswire Radio on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579, and I'll have plenty of announcements here coming up. Just don't you worry about that. We have a big few announcements here that we'll get into later on. But first, I have got plenty to talk about here with our guest, who is no stranger to Sportswire Radio. And we're going to talk quite a bit about what's going on, first of all, in TPW, where it seems like an enterprise is looking to, push over and push to the side a cult that, has been running roughshod over TPW. Don't look like that's happening anymore. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a brand new change of fortune champion. Yeah, our guest has got that. He's back to being Comatose 2 belts. Yeah, he's going to talk about that. He's also going to talk about what is going on here in BTW. And if you watched Season 7, Episode 160 this past evening, you saw that our guest got a huge victory here over a man that he has swiftly been back and forth with on and off over the past year. We'll get into that. We'll talk about what's ahead here at the August Rush, plus who knows whatever else. And maybe I'll even bring up a guy in the Enterprise that yours truly met in the flesh and the wound that knows Comatose really well. And we'll most certainly have to bring up some guys like, I don't know, how about Nathaniel Rage, the devil himself? Yeah, he'll be brought up because Comatose had plenty to say about him. Maybe we'll even bring up a guy that used to be the Change of Fortune champion who may very well be coming back on to Sportswire Radio. Remy Roberts, that Cajun cruiser. Yeah, we're going to certainly be cruising and boozing here, and I'm not going to be giving you any booze, but our guest is going to certainly give you what's on his mind because he's cruising to give wrestlers some bruisings, whether it's in TPW, BTW, and all across the BYW circuit, because after all, we know he's the king of the West and the GOAT of BYW. But even though I may be stumbling and rumbling and bumbling on my intro, because after all, just ask the left side of my teeth here, tooth number 15. I'll talk about tooth number 15 in a little while that's important. But in the famous words of Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, let's get rock, baby, because I see our chat is here. Our guest has got now not one, but 2 championships to promote. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off in style on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, #1 global sports show. A man that is now front and center of one of the premier factions in all of promo wrestling, and especially TPW, the Enterprise. He's the reigning, defending TPW Change of Fortune champion, and he's the reigning, defending BYW Interpromotional champion. His name is, simply put, the King of the West, the GOAT of BYW, Comatose! The double champ is here! My friend, how are we doing?
We are doing absolutely wonderful, Tom. Welcome to a new era of promo wrestling, and welcome to what is surely to be a banger of an event that is August Rush. There is a lot going on in the wrestling world as a whole, and we are going to break that down, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, figuratively and literally. Pretty much I couldn't have said it any better myself. And that's why we're going to talk about all of that. We got a lot to talk about with you. You're a very busy man these days. Obviously, TPW, the enterprise, you certainly had quite a few things to say about a man that has been on my platform many times and won Nathaniel Rage. And you also recently took the Change of Fortune Championship from a man that also has been on my
Oh, yeah.
platform many times. And Remy Roberts, and certainly a lot to talk about in BTW. You were part of the main event in a war. It's always a war between you and Swift. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about what's ahead for you at the August Rush, and I'll try to August Rush into this Comatose, because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage Comatose, that you and certainly TPW and BTW have certainly helped build Sportswire Radio to the tune of over 1,550 plus subscribers. My friend, talk about what it means to you to be now the reigning, defending TPW Change of Fortune champion, and once again be a double champion.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it means an awful lot for me to be the Change of Fortune champion, because if people don't know what the Change of Fortune championship is, let me educate the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, the Change of Fortune championship is a belt that if you defend it 4 times successfully, you then go on to be able to challenge the top person in TPW. Now, that could either be Vinny V, the World Heavyweight Champion of TPW, or that can be the deranged Elias, who is
Yes,
the World Champion himself.
I know
Now,
Elias very well. Yep.
now, I personally have made the decision, and this is a smart business decision as being in the enterprise, that I'm not going for Elias. See, if you've been keeping up with TPW, my
Yes.
partner Dario Divine has
Yes.
won the TPW World Rumble. And he has
Yes.
made the decision that he's going after Elias, which, fair enough. You want the top prize of the game? Then let it be yours. Run for that Rookie of the Year. And while you're doing that, I'm going to successfully defend this, and then me and Vinny, we can chop it up once again on the mic.
Yeah, a lot to digest there. And you've come in here in a short amount of time. And why join the enterprise? Obviously, I'm going to get to somebody I actually personally know in the enterprise, but I can still be down the middle. But from your vantage point, you've come into TPW here very recently. And why join the enterprise?
Well, why join the Enterprise is a very, very good question, and I've actually been asked that a lot in the locker room in TPW, and it is simply just this: it is best for business. And what makes it best for business, you see, me and Dario Divine are the top rising stars in the entire company. We are jetting for the top. You see, in business, they show these graphs of your progress and your sales progress and your merchandising. And you see, what ours would look like is a sharp incline. And we want to keep it that way, not only for ourselves, but for the entire company. And you see, these two that are at the top, they've been at the top doing one hell of a job, but Father Time is undefeated, and unfortunately, bread eventually goes stale.
That is certainly a valid point, and my teeth would certainly agree with you about Father Time. I'll get to that later on, and I want to talk about somebody that's in your group that I actually know very well. I'm going to actually show you proof here for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio. And the man that hosted that Rumble in TPW a few weeks ago, the man, the myth himself, Mr. Jerry Main, maybe the only other person that has more wild hair than I do. And he doesn't have the mutton chops, but he's got the sunglasses and the wild hair to prove it. And here we were here in Union Square and in New York City, in Manhattan. And talk to me what Jerry Main has done for you here being a part of this group.
Jerry Main has actually done a lot, not just for me, but also Dario Divine, because you see, it is no secret that Jerry Main is a force to be reckoned with when
No
he's
question.
in active competition. He is one of, if not the goats of the industry that is promo wrestling.
I agree.
And you see, he's leading us in the right direction as a former world champion. He is personally managing us, making sure that we are going to achieve this success. And you see, this success, it is very important to me because when I say I want to be the GOAT, I really, really mean that. I want to go onto the mic and I want to make it absolutely unbearable for you. I want to humble you in a way that you have never been humbled before, except maybe for when you were a little kid by your own parents. That's what I want the feeling that you have to be reminiscent of, a spanking from your parents.
Well, Comatose, well, I may have gotten a few spankings once upon a time. I know my mom is sleeping, so she can't say anything about that. My daddy's been dead for a while, but I will tell you the dentist is about to give me a spanking on my tooth number 15. I'll
Ooh.
talk about that later on. But speaking of people you want to spank, you want to spank this guy, Nathaniel Rage. Nathaniel Rage is a man that has been on my platform many times. He is a man that has certainly proven himself for quite a long time in the promo wrestling world. He was on top here in TPW, and he was on top in a lot of promo wrestling companies at the beginning of this year. And you're about to have a match with him this coming weekend with your tag.
We actually already did.
Oh well,
We did, which is completely fine. It just happened today, and
it just happened today, yeah.
I would like to inform everybody that the Enterprise was successful
Well,
over
you know what?
Nathaniel
I
Ray.
just watched both those promos, and I didn't see if Rocky had given us results, but I mean, you've targeted Nathaniel Rage, and why had you targeted Nathaniel Rage? Why was he somebody on your itinerary here, sir? Especially since you've come into TPW.
Well, you see, because it's actually not personal. It's actually, and it's not even business. I actually admire you, Nathaniel Rage. I like your work. And you see, the reason that I targeted you is because there's been a lot of things happening here in TPW where you have been puppeteering people's emotions, their feelings, and even their actions. But unfortunately for you, Nathaniel Rage, as I showed, like Pinocchio, you ain't got no strings on me, boy. And I showed you that in this tag team match where I showed you I can do your game just as good as you can do it, if not better. And I didn't even need to talk about you, I just needed to cosplay as you, which is exactly what you do, right? You cosplay as the devil in the Appalachian woods with your grandfather's leather jacket and your grandmother's scarf, Mr. Macklemore.
You don't like his
Welcome to
scarf,
the
by the
thrift
way.
shop.
And what about the Macklemore reference? I mean, he's a shorter version of Macklemore. I think Macklemore was a lot taller than Nathaniel Rage. I like Nathaniel Rage, but I mean, you certainly threw some references out there that were definitely going back there a bit. The scarf you didn't seem to like, the Macklemore reference, and I mean, you don't like his scarf, I guess.
Oh, I did not like. Well, I only don't like his scarf because you see, if you're gonna live in America, you gotta act like an American. You can't go around scaring people and making them think that you're gonna blow up their local grocery store just because you want to be the devil.
Well, hopefully they don't blow up yours because we need you in your grocery store.
Yeah.
But he's obviously a guy though in some ways I think you share more similarities than differences. He's obviously quite a talker. He's obviously a guy that has had his way of seeing things. He's had a lot of success. He's had a lot of success, especially in TPW in a short amount of time. And it seems like, well, what you're trying to do, he did 9 months ago. I mean, to me, are you basically trying to follow in his footsteps for the success that he's had in TPW?
I wouldn't say I'm trying to follow in his footsteps, because to follow in one's footsteps would be to legitimately follow in his footsteps. I would
Right.
then have to hang off of his teat like a puppy dog and their mothers, and join the cult as if I need to be force fed his success. You see, no, the enterprise is different. It's different.
Yeah.
You know the Judgment Day in WWE.
Yeah.
We are all our own leaders. We all just simply do what is best for business. None of us are leading the charge. And you see, that's where the relationships tend to go a little rocky most places, is that one person wants to assert dominance over the other, and that's just not good. That's just not good for business at all. And that is why me and Dario Divine have made it our mission to be the poster children of TPW and be the inspiration to these young promo artists going forward. We are the now, we are the then, and we will be the future.
Well, that's an interesting point you made, because the cult, which I've seen on this platform before, it would be Nathaniel Rage and then everybody else, whether it was Killshot and Bang Bang and Zach Clark and Devin Adams and all those different guys. And with you guys in the Enterprise, there is more of, as you said, kind of a cohesiveness, more of a family unit, whereas clearly there was a pecking order in the cult. I think that's a fair point that you've made in terms of what you guys could potentially do in TPW going forward.
Absolutely. And it just goes to show anyone that is trying to make their way here in TPW that if you want to do it because you feel as if numbers can lead to success, I would never knock you for that, because that's what I'm doing right now. But what you need to realize is you need to realize what numbers you have around you. Do you want to be the white sheep led by the shepherd, or do you want to be one of the black sheep that gather together and create a real revolution?
Well, we're going to certainly find that out, and you can follow TPW on Instagram at Texas underscore promo underscore wrestling. And it's funny because we had somebody talk about Texas promo wrestling yesterday, somebody that was in the company before, a guy named Anthony Steele. And there was another guy that's
Ah,
been here recently, James Taylor, who was also a part of TPW. He actually had a promo match before with Nathaniel Rage. So certainly they've got plenty of history, and you're sort of following in the paths that they have had before previously in TPW. But I do want to talk about your next promo match here coming up in TPW, because I couldn't find the results that Rocky announced, but I did see this here, because you are going to be in a non-title tag team match against the Tag Team Gods, our TPW World Tag Team Champions. I mean, so Comatose, talk about what we can expect here.
well, we can expect definitely one for the ages, because, ladies and gentlemen, TPW is on the road to All Pro 5. So,
Yes.
what a better hype match main event than the Enterprise versus the Tag Team Gods, the clear 1 and 2 best tag teams of the entire dang company. Now, it is subjective to who is 1 and 2 in multiple people's eyes, but we will find that out by the end of this match at the end of this week. And then when we find that out, it's just going to be a eulogy for them at All Pro 5 when we then take their titles.
That could certainly be a possibility. That's going to be what we'll see this weekend. We'll see hype promos that'll be due by Sunday, and match results will be released right afterwards. And that road to All Pro 5 now is 2 weeks away. And you can see some of the other matches here on the card. And it's going to be quite a card. And that's why we're excited about it. And we know very well the banished legend. We know everybody here in this, and that's why I'm excited about it. And there's Dario Divine, and that's Comatose's tag team partner. And you could see that these guys definitely feed well off each other, and that's why they've been successful. And They most recently defeated Vinny V and Nathaniel Rage, and Vinny V is the current TPW World Champion, and Nathaniel Rage was the TPW World Champion. So certainly a lot of busy things ahead, and please support TPW. There is
Yes.
many ways to do that. You can do it simply put right on the Texas Promo Wrestling Instagram page. So certainly very, very exciting stuff. And Rocky's been on here many times, and Rocky has spoke to me about what is TPW coming on. Well, kind of, we killed two birds with one stone tonight because you're a part of TPW, and we got TPW coverage. And I'll talk about the shirt I'm wearing here and what's next for you there in a few minutes. But yes, please follow TPW on Instagram, and you can see Comatose in there and many others. And he is the TPW Change of Fortune champion, which brings me to a few
Oh
weeks
yeah.
ago when you won that championship. You won it against a man that has been here on my platform a bunch of times. And, he's certainly a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a guy that definitely gives his opinions. Sometimes some people think that he takes it the wrong way. Others, well, he speaks his mind, and you definitely had quite a battle with him. And Rocky seemed exasperated on who was going to win it, but you ultimately won it against Remy Roberts, that Cajun cruiser, in the TPW Change of Fortune Championship match a few weeks ago. And I got to ask you about him because I know I'm going to get him back on here real soon as he wants to give his side of the story. But give your side of the story and your battle with Remy Roberts a few weeks ago.
Well, we got to go from the very, very beginning of my time here in TPW for that, ladies and gentlemen, because you
Mm-hmm.
see, since I came here to TPW, it has been nothing but just a pure classic between me and Remy Roberts, an actual contender for Rivalry of the Year. You
Yeah.
see, TPW did what the smart business move would be, and they put me, Comatose, versus Remy Roberts in a non-title match. And then what happened? I defeated him in my very, very first match, 1, 2, 3, pinned him. Of course, this is to be expected, of that me being myself, but many people that weren't in my corner didn't expect me to defeat Remy so easily because he has made a name for himself here in TPW.
He's gone up against some of the biggest names in promo wrestling. I mean, this is a guy that really, I don't want to say is an overnight sensation, but he's proven himself against a lot of names, a lot of big names in promo wrestling. I've seen a lot of guys come and go in promo wrestling, and they say this, they do that, but Remy Roberts definitely, he walked the walk. I got to say that much.
Definitely. And I will say that too. Because as a matter of fact, it was a known fact that to any fan of Remy Roberts and to any close fan of TPW that Remy Roberts had never been beaten twice in a row by the
Yep.
same person.
Yep.
And coming into TPW, learning all these facts about everybody in the locker room, I actually made it my personal mission to do so. So what did I do? I went for it. I should have gotten the match right off the bat because I had just pinned the man, but alas, as I have said before, management made their decision. They wanted to throw me in a 9-man battle royal for a shot at his championship belt, and I had no problem with it because, like I've done in BTW, I'm very familiar in Rumble situations, and I
You
took
did
care
win
of.
one this year, and I'm going to talk about BTW in a few minutes. I mean, you did win one a few months ago for sure.
Like I was saying, like I did in BTW, I just outlasted every single person in that rumble, dominating in, old comatose fashion, making
Mm.
my way back to Remy Roberts for the second installment. But this time for TPW Gold. And what no one knows is that this was Remy Roberts' fourth championship
Yep.
defense.
Yeah, he had the
So
title for a while.
So, like in old comatose fashion, since I've even joined promo wrestling, if people don't remember, when I was in IGPW, what did I do to Vinny V? I stopped his
Fourth.
fourth championship run with the Hellstarter Championship. You see, I just have this habit of stopping people who think they are think they're invincible forces of nature, just impenetrable walls. And what I do is I penetrate straight through them like an ice pick in Antarctica. Because that's just simply who I am. I'm the one that comes in and defies the odds, takes the gold, goes home, and collects the checks.
And you've certainly been collecting bodies here in the promo wrestling world, and you get a big victory over Remy Roberts for that Change of Fortune championship. And Remy had been on here, and he had talked about what that championship meant to him. He talked about how emotional it was for him to win that championship. He talked about here in the past on this platform about his journey, his struggles in life, and that championship meant a lot to him. And for you to take that from him, it was certainly no easy feat.
It was definitely no easy feat. He was definitely a hell of a competitor, and it was one hell of a gruesome battle on the mic. You see, Remy is very talented. He will
Yeah, I've
chop
had him here a bunch of times.
he,
He's a
he
guy
was he,
that he speaks his mind. He definitely speaks his mind.
definitely. He chops you up and he will put you into a salad and make you something delicious. There is nothing I have against Remy Roberts whatsoever, and as a matter of fact, TPW can even agree with me. We put on classics.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Rocky, he was, like I said, exasperated on just who to award the winner of the match for the Change of Fortune Championship. He was really, I mean, it was a tough decision for him. I mean, legitimately, I mean, it probably was the toughest decision. I think it was match of the night, right? Wasn't it match of the night?
Definitely.
It was match of the night. So that tells you just, I mean, it could have went either way. It just could have went either way, and you were happy, I'm sure, to take the W. And on that fourth defense for Remy, stop him from going any further. And you've got that championship, and you've got two belts now. You got one in the promo wrestling world, and you got one of your own, which I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes. And you're on your way, and you're on your way in promo wrestling. You got the TPW Change of Fortune Championship. You got a suit on here today. You know, Comatose, sometimes you come on here and you look different, whether you're out and about. Maybe you just shot an animal to go and prepare for the next day's meal for everybody else at the supermarket, or maybe you're coming in here and you're just who knows whatever else. But now you seem like you're dressing like a businessman. I mean, I'm the guy that's supposed to be the businessman. I don't dress that way, but yet, Comatose, you're dressed the way that I should be dressed, and obviously you're dressed for success, and that's why you're certainly looking for bigger and better things here, not just in TPW, but in BTW, which I'll talk about shortly.
Yes, definitely. And it's just simply this, ladies and gentlemen. If you are not one that is willing to create the best for your business, then what are you to the business? And that is just simply that. And
Yeah.
I don't know, however, people want to take that. They can take it the way they want to take it. But the truth is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to gravitate more towards a guy that is willing to do anything, that is willing to make the brand come first before his own selfish wants and needs, if you even want to call them needs. So,
Well, I mean, yeah, you know it. You speak from the heart, and you certainly are living the brand, and you are certainly representing the enterprise on here, and the enterprise are looking for bigger and better things, and you'll be in action here in a
oh yeah,
tag team championship match against our champions here in TPW, the Gods. But normally I go from one by one in the chat, but I want to go to a man that he's my hall monitor. He now calls himself the Hall of Fame monitor, Mr. Justin Parsley. And he's got a question that
okay.
sort of is directed at you related to promo wrestling. And I'm going to let him go right off the bat here. If you could see any talent join promo wrestling, who would you want it to be? And then we'll spoiler alert. And why would you want it to be me?
Oh, this is why I love Mr. Parsley. You see, Mr. Parsley, you, my friend, would be a phenomenal addition to what would be the enterprise, no pun intended, that is promo wrestling. You see, if we have you in the industry, we could skyrocket this thing to a main event seat. But of course, alas, Mr. Parsley, while you are a god of a talent, you are not the only deity in the universe. There are other people I would like to see, such as, oh, I don't know. I would love to see RJS come in there and see if he can chop it up. Shoot,
Yeah.
I, I would love to see any of the BTW boys come in there, and you say, oh yes. But here is why I would like to say that, and this is actually some words of encouragement to people out there in the yard, because you see, for far too long, there has been this division between backyard wrestling and promo wrestling. And I feel as if this needs to stop. Because, yarders, it is a phenomenal opportunity to sharpen the tongue that could spew the venom that you are trying to get across. It could make you better, not just with your words and your wordplay, it could make you better with your character work. It can make what you do believable. Promo wrestling is a very valuable asset, I would say.
No, I agree. Listen, no, I listen. I'm all wrestling matters. I support promo wrestling. I do believe that there are a lot of talented people in the world of promo wrestling. There are some people that maybe they didn't train, maybe they didn't physically have the ability or the God given talent to go out there and wrestle. You know, I come from the world of politics, and there were some people that didn't have the gift of gab or didn't have certain things. And I was kind of one of those guys. I don't want to call myself a trainer type, but I was one of those people that could give them, some knowledge and different things like that. So I definitely support promo wrestling. And there are many people in the backyard who have been in promo wrestling. There is a Dante O'Cara who was in the British independent wrestling scene who had a cup of coffee here in TPW. There was a Trey Mysticality who had a also cup of coffee here. And then there's obviously a guy that I have to bring him up because he's in the chat. And I guess he was able to comment to himself because he got this, or somebody, I don't know if it was him or not, but Chappie Taft Taylor, probably heard of him. His name is James Taylor. He's the BYCW Undisputed Champion. He's also the PWF Uprising Champion. And he would like to say that, I think I have the wrong championship, but he's got the other PWF championship, but I'm going to do over that one. But he does want to remind you that you know who he is in the promo world.
I certainly do, and I have been waiting for one's return in TPW.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's here, and obviously, maybe that's something he would like to go to down there. He's been very busy, obviously, in BYCW and
Fair enough.
with the PWF and ROEW. He's definitely been very busy there, and I mean, he's a busy man. He's traveling different places, and not everybody's got the intestinal fortitude to do these different things. And I got to make sure that he gets a mention, and I'm sure that maybe one day you'll see him out there. Who knows?
I do hope so.
Maybe you could talk to him about that. I mean, you've obviously interviewed the man, so you know him. You know him a lot better than me. So maybe after him hearing this, maybe that'll give him another place to conquer, because he's obviously been winning in other places and everywhere else he's been in. So maybe that'll give him some motivation. I want to say hello to somebody, though, who's in the chat, because he's a good buddy. And he's actually traveling to other places. He'll actually be wrestling, by the way, in a match I'm really excited about here in Best in the Yard 6 coming up. And is Mr. Brandon Costello. He's wrestling. Yeah, get this. The winner's the Dawn's March. He'll be wrestling Chase Wakefield, who was here Saturday. And by the way, Justin Parsley got uninvited to a wedding, just so you know. That happened this past Saturday. And there's my buddy Silas Walker. And then this guy, Ace Christian. They're all the Dawn's March. But Brandon's got a YouTube channel, and I want to get him some more subscribers. So do me a favor, check out his page. He's the reigning defending DBW champion. You see him in VTW, and he's a hard hitter. He just had a brutal war with this guy, Aaron Jones. Yeah, the real boss man. And definitely check him out. He puts a number of vlogs out there, shows you behind the scenes about what he does in DBW, VTW in the past. Great guy, and DBW is getting ready to return to the ring, and I'd like to give Mr. Costelli a nice little follow, a nice little shout out. So definitely check out his page and get him 102 subscribers, 103, 104, so on and so on. So take care of business there. There you go. And Rocky is here. Just so you know that now Rocky really has proof that I finally have brought promo wrestling back to Sportswire. It's been a minute. It'll hopefully be as not as long as it's been between root canals for me, but we'll talk about that later on. But yeah, if you haven't seen Aaron Jones and him kill each other, you can do that on his YouTube channel because he showed you the in-depth behind the scenes, but also go to the DBW YouTube page and hit the sub button for them. DBW is getting ready to return to the ring, but Aaron Jones and him, they've had quite a history, but Brandon he's all over the place. I love how he's shown you in the past. He's at the zoo, he's at the malls, he's out there with his other half, and they do a lot of different things, and we appreciate him, and he's a Typo Negative fan, so I'm gonna have to plug him all the time. But all right, let's get to the chat. I want to get to the chat. I want to talk about BTW. I want to talk about a number of different things, so let me get to that. I would imagine this is RTG, so I just want to let you know RTG Dave is here, and and I just want to remind you that he wanted me to tell you that you're still Comatose.
Okay. I figured. Tell him that he still farts dust.
You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not, and I'm going to leave that at that. But I will say hello to RTG, and thank you, Zilla, for being here with us. I saw Zilla was a little upset today in the chat for BTW this past episode, and I'll let Zilla tell us why about that and other things. And Mr. Ox McCoy is here, the IMF Hardcore champion. Yes, the man that reigns in blood, sends all his messages in blood. And there you go. And thank you. Hello to Ox. And I bought you some time and me some time. And I couldn't type because I just can't type sometimes. Justin Parsley, the Hall of Fame monitor of Sportswire. He wants to now be called the Hall of Fame monitor. But I'm gonna let it slide because he is in the Hall of Fame more than anybody else. Good to see you. And that's what you guys say to me. And, I guess RJS is saying hello to you. Good to see you. So I guess that's nice of him. I guess you have quite a history with him. You referenced it today. And maybe they're saying hello to each other. And as I stated, hello, Comatose. There you go.
There it is.
And yes, there we go. There we go. Congratulations, Comatose, on being a double champion.
Thank
you.
I
do want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Eddie Pizzo. Eddie's got some plans. He's got some big plans, and he really went the extra mile for it. So maybe we'll see it here really soon. I want to sell it to Princess Jade. In case you didn't know, she's a big Justin Parsley fan. How do I know that? Because that poster's there. Otherwise, with that poster, without that photo, I would have guessed maybe, but now because I see that picture, she's a Justin Parsley. But I never would have guessed she's a big Justin Parsley fan. But oddly enough, she's a big Felix Jones fan and a big Justin Parsley fan. But they're no longer side by side anymore. But yeah, that's her deal. She'll explain more of it on Thursday night show. And just so anybody else didn't see it, Felix Jones snapped on Anthony Steele. I mean, a lot of people at Backyard and Underground Wrestling have been wanting to do that for years, but Felix Jones, he had enough last night on Sportswire. He snapped on Anthony Steele. I mean, there are people that companies have wanted to do that for years, but Felix Jones, the Prince of Professional Wrestling, the PWF champion, he did it and
finally did it.
Somebody did it, and it had to be Felix Jones. Ox McCoy likes your glasses. I hope your computer is okay, and thank you very much for tuning in. And also, Justin Parsley wants you to have a promo match with the 7-star superstar, the good guy, CJ Black, for the All Wrestling Matters Championship. Now, for now, he's the All Wrestling Matters Champion, but he's going to defend it here coming up against this guy, Jason Storm, who Justin Parsley, oh, by the way, is going to see him in the ring this weekend. But that's what Comatose wants, you and the good guy.
That would be one hell of a show. And if you want to talk about blockbuster, that would be a blockbuster match to have. I would love to go against the 7-star superstar, one of my backyard wrestling idols, if I would say, for sure, in a promo wrestling match.
Definitely. No, listen, he's the 7-star superstar. And oh, by the way, this guy, James Fury, said, yeah, I go out there and I've trained with CJ Black. I've trained with the ROEW guys. How do I know that, Comatose? Well, I spoke to the man on this platform, and the man talked about it here on Sportswire. And I saw, by the way, on Facebook, I saw ROEW guys reference the fact that James Fury has trained with them. So yeah, that's how I know. But yeah, I would like to see that. I think a lot of people would, but we'll see. I mean, CJ Black's got it right now. His hands full with Jason Storm, and you're busy right now in TPW and BTW. But we'll have to stay tuned, as they always say. But if my mom's spankings didn't garner the reaction she wanted, she'd just tell our dad. So I learned how to work early. Well, he is Justin Parsley, and he is really telling us the truth. How do I know that? Because he's my hall monitor. But spoiler alert, you can see some of his old content where he's spanking other people, and maybe he's getting spanked on a Circle of Jerks episode. But we can't do that stuff here on Sportswire because, well, we are a family station and we get the big boys here. But Justin Parsley can say some big boy words on his YouTube page. You can hit a sub button for him because he's got 109 subscribers, and he was at 110 and somebody unsubscribed. So get him another subscriber, get him 2 subscribers, get him 3 subscribers, and reminds me of that old Happy Days commercial. And they would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and they would go around and round and round. And RTG was around when Happy Days was around. He was probably like one of the guys in the show, so he would know that better than because Happy Days is so old. But that's okay. We love RTG, baby. But listen, I mean, I love old TV shows. But Justin Parsley's not as old as RTG, but you get the sub button for him, and you can thank me later. But there's for our Hall of Fame monitor. But let's get to some more comments. And who else we have here in the chat because I can't find. Yes, hit the follow button for TPW. TPW is definitely moving up the ladder. And also, I want to remind you from RTG, baby, maybe this is why you choke so much in BTW, Comatose. There are too many irons in the fire with you taking part in multiple feds instead of just focusing on the big prize, the BTW championship. He makes a fair point because Comatose, you had multiple opportunities at that championship. You talked about the Rumble. You won that a few months ago, but while I'm happy for you as a friend that you've got another championship, it's not the BTW championship though, sir.
And that is a very fair point. But if I must try to defend myself, it will look something like this.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, he makes a point. I have not gotten the big one yet, and every single time that I have tried and went for an attempt, I have failed. And I haven't failed for any other reason but myself. And you know what? Maybe we could call that, maybe Comatose is just jumping the gun. Maybe Comatose just needs to work a little harder before he takes complete reins of the entire community. Because, it is a lot, as past faces of the community have had to endure before. We've had Jack Delta, we've had the likes of people like Cage, Wicked J, Cameron Jackson, just to name a few.
Yeah, Wicked J is a good reference.
Wicked J, just to briefly say, is my personal goat of backyard wrestling, but we'll move past that. They had to endure it. So that means I also have to endure it. And what timing, Tom? What timing?
Because timing's everything. Listen, timing's everything in life. Timing's everything.
Because I think the time has come to talk about it.
I'm going to do that once I get through the rest of the chat. But
okay, yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. I was about to say, let's not jump the gun. You see, look at Comatose jumping the gun once again.
That's okay. Listen, football season's coming. You got to get the last play in before the clock runs out. That's okay. The Penetrator, Comatose. That's a rather interesting name there for Ox McCoy that he's given you.
A Penetrator, Comatose is wild.
Hello to James Taylor. I know James will, I'm sure, return to Sportswire soon. Thank you very much, Brandon. And I'm excited that Brandon and DBW are returning. And thank you, Rocky. And yes, hit the sub button for Brandon, please. He just recently surpassed 100 subs. And we'll give him a bump. Yeah, give him another subscriber or two. That would be good. And also, speaking of people that I know we'll be talking about here, Steven Storm is here. Usually
Ah,
there's a lot. There's AJ Storm, certainly in the promo role. You've definitely, I'm sure, heard of him. There's Jason Storm, who I referenced, and now there's Steven Storm. There's all comes in threes. A lot of Storm. There was a guy Vega Storm that used to come on here, Vega the Kid Storm. So there you go. But that's
yeah.
it. And,
Well,
not a,
you see, Tom,
what?
Mother
What?
Nature, she gets mad, she gets mad, and when she gets mad, she tends to create a lot of storms, and that's why once in a generation, there's a king that comes along to weather the storms.
Well, I'm going to talk about that. Whether you are the king of the West and the goat of BYW, I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. And certainly, there is some storms that Mother Nature has created for my mouth because I'm getting a tooth implant in 15 days. So hopefully, I won't be on the shelf for Sportswire too long. But we'll see. Something tells me that maybe I won't be on the shelf. Maybe I'll just go through the pain. I don't know. But yeah, tooth implant. My bank account though took a $4,000 hit today, but
Ooh.
people wouldn't feel sorry. But they wouldn't feel when they would see the amount of zeros I had. They would say, "Oh, okay, yeah, we ain't feeling too bad for him." But yeah, that's okay. But yeah, definitely, my mouth's about to feel even more pain in 15 days. But who knows? Maybe we'll do a show the day before a going away, a goodbye show, a funeral for yours truly on Sportswire. Because after all, wait, listen, what if the tooth implant surgery goes wrong and maybe this is it, or maybe you'll take over Comatose. Maybe Justin Parsley will be, here on Sportswear area enforcing everything as the Hall of Fame monitor.
Oh yeah.
James Taylor will come on here and then Anthony Steele will be, that's what I do. And Felix Jones will come on here and say, he'll snap on everybody. Who knows? Omen Black will come on. It's his show. Maybe you'll come on, and who knows? RTG baby and all these Aaron Blaze. I gotta bring him. Everybody will come. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
Who really knows? So maybe it's time to bid adieu. Literally, maybe who knows? It'll go all wrong, and it was nice knowing everybody. But something tells me that it's just a tooth implant. But hello to Dalton Skull. Speaking of people that have history with James Taylor and certainly have some matches upcoming with him, hit the sub button for Justin Parsley's YouTube channel. And also, I'll wait to see you at the wedding. Yeah. And by the way, Justin Parsley, I don't know if you've been to a wedding before. I don't know. I would take it you haven't been married before. But have you ever heard of anybody being publicly uninvited to a wedding? Yeah, I'm really curious your opinion on that, or if that's something you've heard of before.
Actually, yes.
I know it's Saturday show. Yeah, all right, but have you heard?
I was about to say I've actually heard a little worse, so it's not the most shocking thing I've ever heard. However, Mr. Justin Parsley is quite a commodity of talent, so that is in itself what makes it shocking.
Well, Chase Wakefield has not liked how Justin Parsley has talked to him. He has been very, very vocal about the fact he has not liked how Justin Parsley has talked to him over these past several months. I mean, he's really been adamant about that, and he feels that Justin Parsley and just the way he's come across, that it's, he's just wrong in a lot of things, and that's what he feels. He doesn't want him to be mentioned when he's on here on Sportswire. He doesn't want him to be mentioned in any shape or form, and now he's gone so far to uninvite him. Originally, he was just going to be allowed to be in the stands. He was going to be there and in support of a friend, and apparently now he's been uninvited. So when they have this wedding, Mr. Comatose, that apparently when they look for everybody to show up and who's on the list, Justin Parsley, they're going to tell him to go elsewhere. They're going to tell him to go back to where he came from in Indiana and just tell him, do not come. Almost, that's what they're basically telling him. I feel sorry for him in that sense.
I feel sorry for him too, but I just hope that he takes the message and he doesn't still try to show up so it becomes even more embarrassing.
I mean, that's up to him. That's his right. I mean, I'm sure if he would like to, I don't know the distance geographically from Indiana to Pennsylvania, but if that's something that he would like to do, that he is certainly entitled to that. And maybe he's got family in Pennsylvania. Nobody's asked or nobody's checked Mr. Parsley's background. Maybe he has family in Pennsylvania. Maybe he has friends there, other friends, and maybe they would like him to show. I don't know. I don't
I don't,
know.
I don't know either, but I do know that Mr. Parsley, I do hope whatever got you uninvited from that wedding that you work on it so it doesn't get you uninvited for more.
Well, you know what? I am going to stick up for my Hall of Fame monitor. I think that he should be at the very least invited. Now, I don't know about wrestling. Mr. Wakefield said that we're going to watch it. We're going to watch it when it airs, and we'll talk about it. He'll come back on. But I think that my Hall of Fame monitor, he should be invited at the very least. Because what if he wants to go?
I agree.
There are people that he knows that he's been in a ring with, or maybe he's seen in the locker rooms. He has been. There are people there, D'Angelo the Flame, guys like Ace Christian. He has been in locker rooms with them. He would like to see. He would like to see his friends, and he's being denied that opportunity to do that. And that's obviously Mr. Wakefield's right. I wish I could be there to support my Hall of Fame monitor, but like I said, August 27th might be the self-destruction of yours truly, because after all, with the tooth implant surgery, this could be it, because you know that this dentist, he's going to just go and he's going to go all broke. And he said, you know what, let's go for it. And I've got family members that they would be, very excited at the prospect of the self-destruction of yours truly, because they could be chomping at the bits for the bank account. Who's getting half, who's getting a third, who's in, so they want that. So, listen, I mean, Ozzy went out. I mean, listen, Ozzy back to the beginning went up. Maybe August 26th, we're doing back to the beginning.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, we're having fun. I'll wait to see with the wedding. There you go. Say the big boy word, Parsley, and there he is, Remy Roberts. And I promise Remy will be back on Sportswire soon. And hello, old friend. And I think he's talking to you because he did
Hello, Remy.
referenced him quite a bit. Hello to Dalton and BCW. And how long have you been the BYW Interpromotional Champion?
Ooh, since March 20th of 2024. So
17 months almost 17 months.
almost 17 months.
Yeah. So we're looking at almost 500 days.
Yes, indeed.
I
That's a
can still
very
count.
that I see. I couldn't have even done that off the top of my head like that. So I'm very good. See, this is why the world is blessed to have people like you.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, the dentist was very blessed to have $4,000 today. But hey, that's okay. We're having fun. Yeah, definitely rip Wicked J. And I think about my friend Osiris, who's been on here a few times. And man, I still speak to, have the good fortune of calling a friend. And that's why I picked up on Wicked J right away. Good call there. That was a good call on your end. And yeah, a CJE and Kate shout out. There you go. But yeah, we do different things here on Sportswire. And yeah, she was upset about the BCF4 and the way they were treated. And the leader of the BCF4, Mad Jack, who should not be the leader. Well, follow the leader. It was a great Korn album. But to give Comatose his props, he's a damn good wrestler and a great promoter. He bested me not once but twice. That's talent and hard work that I can't ignore. If he wants it, he takes it. No prisoners.
Yes, sir, I do, and I've been trying to hopefully show that to the entire audience that would be the wrestling community, that since I came back, that's the exact mindset. And I'm glad that the message is finally starting to come through, because once I really kick it into another gear, everybody's in trouble because I have big plans.
Well, we're going to talk about some of those plans when I eventually get to the comments. Not quite. I mean, not quite. Not quite. But yes, I've done well. You know what? I do happen to enjoy cannolis. I don't think his name is Cannoli though, but I am very blessed to have had many good cannolis from the fellow of Brooklyn, New York. But his name is Castelli, not Cannoli. I could tell you that. So the question is, do you think that you can win the BTW champion? That's a good question. Can you? He's the DBW champion. He went through the same thing, but I want to point this out. He went through the same struggle in his company. He has been in DBW a long time. He has been one of the, we talked about the Dawn's March earlier, Best in the Yard 6. Please check that out on the VTW page. Chase and I spoke a lot about that. But can you win the big one? I mean, that is a struggle for a lot of people,
You see, I don't sit and ponder about the thought if I can because I've done it 7 times before. Ladies and gentlemen, I think sometimes this is exactly why Comatose started the Comatose tour when I came back in 2024, because
Yeah.
people seem to forget who I am. We've just mentioned all of these numbers, all of these accolades that Comatose has, and yet we still miss the mark. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not if but when Comatose wins the BTW World Championship. I just can't, as I've said before, compete for it again this season because unfortunately I have run my chances. Didn't beat Redhead, didn't beat Blackout, and that's the unfortunate truth of for myself this year. So what do I have to do? I have to take chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad at August Rush.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. We are going to talk about that. And listen, there is sometimes that struggle in this sport or in any sport of winning the big one. I talk about it all the time, and we'll find out
I
next
will
season.
one day. Next season, you can count on that being the primary focus.
I listen. I mean, in this sport, I think that it's what it's to be is to win a world championship in whatever Fed you're in, whether it's DBW, BTW, VTW, IMF, ROEW, now EWA, whether DKW, whether it's Legendary Backyard Wrestling's LBYW, NEW, tomorrow with Jake DeVere, whatever company you're in, TF Crew, it is about winning your company's championship, whether it's Wrestling Zero, whether it's anywhere else, BYCW, and you name a promotion and you're Fed, it's about winning that world championship. Justin, you let me down, dog. Now, who am I supposed to have help me ruin Chase's wedding? Well, I mean, that's a great question,
Eek,
but I
get
mean,
hot in
Justin
here.
Parsley, Justin Parsley's apparently not invited. So the only thing I can continue to say is hit the sub button. Brandon got a subscriber. Thank you, whoever subbed. Go give him another sub or two. Give him another sub or two, and we'll talk about him soon. Hello there. I think Jade left the chat, and also, yeah, you want to crash Chase's wedding. I do, putting my King of Palo ring on it. Now, I don't know.
Ooh.
That's just like reference because when you get married, but you have to put a ring on somebody. So I don't know if Mr. Parsley is trying to reference that he would like to put a ring on Mr. Wakefield's other half. I'm not going to go down that road
Ooh,
because
Tom.
obviously, look, but you know what? This could be something that when I'm going to be long gone here after August 27th. This wedding, by the way, is after August 27th. So when I'm going to be gone here in 2 weeks, and it's just going to be all of you are going to be thinking about this Chase Wakefield wedding, and like I'm going out in a blaze of glory, literally, because again, I'm getting the tooth implant, and that's it. It's time to go, and you guys will have to figure out who put the ring on it. So that's really going to be what the underground and the backyard wrestling circuit will be focused on is just who is going to, I guess, crash this wedding, and if Justin Parsley puts a ring on it. I don't know. But yes, and thank you, Zilla, for repeating that reference. You have a lot of comments. Good advice. Clip it, send it to Chase, anybody. Well, guess what? He's here right now. So apparently there you have it. And shut up, Justin. You're uninvited, period. Well, who
Eek.
knows? When you change your mind, you know how to get a hold of me. Yeah, I mean, he's right here, actually. Mr. Wakefield, he told Mr. Parsley this, and they're both in the chat. And I think that Chase Wakefield hopefully changes his mind. Hello to Chase Wakefield. Zilla, blame Mad Jack for what's going on. If I was leader from the beginning. Yeah, well, that's RTG's talked a lot about that, and I promise I'll get to that. I am defending my world title at this wedding. Anyone is welcome to challenging. Now, I mean, Comatose, I know you're on the other end of the country, so maybe that might be out of the cards for now. Mr. Parsley's been uninvited, so I don't know if that would be a possibility. Mr. Wakefield, it's his show, so I don't know how he would feel necessarily about that.
Yeah,
I mean, so
that would
I
be
guess
all
time
up
will
to Mr. Wakefield.
time will tell. I mean, time will tell. I mean, I, for one, by the way, if I had a vote, I mean, him and Aaron Jones just went to war. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, Mr. Castelli would be mad for me bringing it up, but I wouldn't mind those two behemoths, not to be confused with the other behemoth in the Pennsylvania wrestling circuit here and the Brooklyn Prodigies. But I would certainly say that I would like to see those two wrestle again, maybe at the wedding or maybe not somewhere else. But we'll come back here. Anyone, and he said a question mark, by the way. Anyone. I wonder what that means. Anyone? And yeah, well, I guess that would mean, yeah. I mean, if Mr. McCoy, he hasn't been uninvited. So I mean, I love to see Mr. Costelli and Mr. McCoy mix it up. I mean, that would be a match I think a lot of people would be really interested in on to see. And yeah, well, I'm not going to wear my "Who the F is Justin Parsley" shirt tonight, and I'm not going to bring it. Not going to bring it with me on Thursday's show because when Mr. Parsley's cohorts are back on here, I'm going to make sure I'm not wearing that shirt. But I will certainly be referencing where the F is Justin Parsley. But yeah, who else we got here? Brandon Costelli. Just remember, if you ever want to run the ones, you know where to find me. Well, I know where to find Steven Stone, and I want to make sure I know where people find Brandon Costelli. Why do I say that? Because he's got a YouTube page. So if you've seen him for the first time in a while on Sportswire, go hit the sub button for his YouTube page. I want you to hit that sub button. You could be up to date on some of the things he's doing, some of the places he's traveling to, some of the people he's friends with, and some of the things that's important in his home and what's in front of his doorstep. And Justin Parsley's six-pack challenge. Yeah, I mean, I don't know you to be a six-pack drinker, but maybe you want a six-pack challenge of a match. But that could be. And I was saying a lot of things that you said, Comatose, and then 6 years later, see what I mean? I referenced that a little while ago, Comatose, just saying before I make the hockey line transition in a minute or two. And thanks, Brandon, for relaying the announcement. So Brandon basically spoiled what Mr. Wakefield was telling us on Saturday, so that we're not going to talk about any more match announcements. We're not going to talk about anything else. But hey, listen, card is always subject to change. The card is always subject to change. Trust me on that. Listen, you know what, Comatose? You could be taking over for me on August 27th. After this is it, you could be taking over. It could be time to go. Listen, I mean, they're still trying. Listen, Ozzy's gone, and they can't figure out who's going to replace him. And, well, spoiler, nobody's replacing him. But you know what? Listen, they replaced Chester Bennington in Lincoln Park.
Don't get me started. Don't dare, Tom.
People like it. I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying that I would have put we love females on here, but I don't know if it would have been on my bingo card.
That's not the problem. Yeah, there's no problem. She is incredibly talented. Let's get that straight. She's incredibly talented, but nobody's Chester.
Well, and that's listen, that's what it comes down to. I mean, but there have been people replaced, but he is gonna defend it against anyone. So that could be anyone. And Storm, if the time is right, you can handle it. You never know. And yeah, he got too excited. I don't blame him. And I'm just as excited to plug his YouTube page. And yeah, somebody hit the sub button for one other sub. But I'm a little delayed on the stream. But Ox, Storm, Comatose, Parsley, and Jones. That's a six-pack challenge, by the way. I mean, that's just that's a lot of people there, a lot of men competing for one of the most important prizes in our sport, for Mr. Costelli's DBW championship. Yeah, against all odds. Hit the sub button for Brandon's page, please. Hit the sub button for him. Also, six-pack challenge. Okay, obviously talked a lot about a couple different things. Let me make a few announcements here. I got to get a couple things out of the way before I transition to our final topic. First of all, I got to give a big happy birthday wish to a very good friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine for almost a decade, Mr. Steven Saperstein. I got to give him as big a birthday wish as tall as Steven Saperstein is. But Steven Saperstein, my good buddy for a very long time, technically my former employer multiple times. Comatose, one of the few people that Steven Saperstein fired me multiple. No, I'm just kidding. He just kept running for office a few times, and we did win one election. We didn't win a few other ones, but he was my employer for many of those times. We have been friends for almost 10 years now, 8+ years, and he has been one of my biggest supporters. He has been one of the reasons why Sportswire is what it is today. And he was one of my first guests, and he was really didn't think I would really be much of into this, and I would be where we are today. But he stuck by me. He's been a loyal friend, and he's been a great supporter. And I just want to wish him a happy birthday. Hope he has a blessed day. And you're getting old, Steve. I don't want to say how old you are, Steve, but you're getting really old. I mean, you're basically now as old as the likes of James Taylor and Darkron, the Underground OG. Still not quite as old as RTG, baby, but definitely Steven Saperstein, great friend. Definitely one of the people that has made Sportswire Radio what it is today. And I just want to thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your support over the years. Thank you for giving me a job in politics every time you ran for office, by the way. But no, it's okay. But he really didn't pay me that much money. But he did give me an opportunity. And he definitely, we wish we would have got him elected, but we did win the Democratic primary one. So listen, we'll take one, but who knows what the future brings. But Steve, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your support. I hope you have a great day. The best is yet to come, and I'll definitely see you soon. I also want to make an announcement here Thursday night before the IMF gang is here. If you saw what last night brought with Felix Jones snapping on Anthony Steele and Il Drago coming back and Omen Black and what he said as he usually does, I actually have one of the premier progressive heavy metal bands coming on right before the IMF guys, before maybe you might want to say for some all-out warfare. Symphony X, that's right, the legendary Symphony X. They'll be here coming up Thursday night in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. We're very, very excited about that opportunity. And Symphony X is a local band, and I want to thank their manager, Alexander Ford. I don't know why he likes me. There's some people that like me in the world. Now, my dentist, he definitely likes me. He took $4,000 from me about 9 hours ago. But obviously, we want to thank Mr. Ford. Obviously, he's the guy that hooked me up with King's X, and he's now hooked me up with Symphony X. And we like a lot of X's here on Sportswire Radio. But we're looking forward to speaking with the bassist of the band, Symphony X, Mike LaPond. The band is out on tour coming up here. They're actually touring with a band that I just saw play. I'm also going to bring on here coming up in a few weeks called Colossal Street Jam. So we'll definitely go through, let's say, the underworld with Symphony X. We'll definitely have, I have no doubt, an odyssey of a journey with Mike LaPond, the bassist of the band. So Symphony X, one of the premier progressive metal bands, almost like the poor man's dream theater. Don't tell Symphony X that, but definitely a great honor. And the band celebrated their 30-year anniversary last year, and they're out on tour right now. And they'll be playing across the country here over the next couple of months. So check them out. But we are here right now on Sportswire Radio. That was a mouthful. We're here with Comatose, who is the TPW Change of Fortune champion. He is also the BYW Interpromotional champion, and he'll be competing in BTW's August Rush, which brings me to that, Comatose. And you were competing in a match that, originally I didn't really know what to say about it. Obviously, different things are out there, but I'm going to bring it up. You are wrestling against the guy, Aaron Blaze, and certainly quite a history that's been on this platform. Quite a history we've seen of late in BTW the past couple of weeks, and he's competing for your prize. And what can we expect here coming up at the August Rush?
Well, Tom, before I touch up on that, let me also announce this before I say something about that. On the very, very same day that would be August Rush, August 31st is going to be a very, very busy day for Comatose. And not only a busy day for Comatose, but a busy day for my prized possession, the Interpromotional title. Because I know a lot of fans on here might not know who this promotion is, but I've been doing a little work on a company called JRW.
Yes.
And they are deciding to bring something back. And that would be called Warfare. Backyard Warfare. Backyard Warfare 3. And unfortunately, over the last couple of weeks, I've just been having some issues with my brother. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the world to know, on August 31st, Comatose is pulling double duty. At Warfare 3, I defend my Interpromotional Championship against Alex Ryder in a street fight.
Wait. You mean to tell me you're going to wrestle your own flesh and blood for your championship? So you mean to tell me you're doing double duty?
I'm doing double duty on August 31st. for
Okay,
two different companies.
I know Jason Storm is doing that this weekend, and certainly it's not the first person to pull that trick, but you're defending the championship in two different places. Boy, you can certainly travel, but I mean, your brother is giving you a lot of problems. I spoke to you about your brother a couple of months ago, and you guys have been kind of on different paths, and it's going to come to a head here in a street fight.
In a street fight. Now, of course, if anyone is a diehard Comatose fan, or if they've just been paying attention to Comatose and BYW in general, history shows challenging Comatose to a street fight is about the dumbest thing you could do for your career. RJS learned that the hard way. Now, my own flesh and blood thinks that he has the cojones to challenge me at my own game. And not to mention at my own game, at a game he's never even played. He's never even had a street fight match. And he thinks that he can come at me and take this title off of me. Now, this event is more than likely going to be after August Rush, so who knows? I might not even have the title. It might just be me facing him mano y mano, but title or no title, when it comes down to my family bloodline, you will always just be the prince in the air while I am the king sitting on the throne, Alex.
But RTG might be onto something. You got your hands in all these different places, and now you've got your brother to worry about. And
I
your
do.
brother came in here almost off your coattails, and now he really wants to ride your coattails and potentially take something away from you that you've been holding. You just mentioned it about 10 minutes ago. You've held that BYW Interpromotional Championship, sir, for almost 17 months.
I truly want to challenge myself, Tom. You see, because I've been saying it the entire time I've been back. Even before I actually held this title, when I paraded around with it as if it was mine, before I beat Ashton Manson for it once again, I have been saying I want competition, and it just seems as if no matter in which direction of the horizon I look like, there is no one running towards me to accept the challenge. So what did I have to do? I had to pull an RTG, baby, and I had to play chess and not checkers. And while some people might see it as detrimental for me, I see it as absolutely beneficial, because all people think about is this: is he even going to have the stamina for this? When they should be asking, what is it going to look like if Comatose wins it all?
Well, you made a point today on BTW TV, which I'll give a plug to BTW here in a minute. And I had the poster up for August Rushers that you have had a lot of big matches, but that track record's been mixed. Yes, you got a big win today, no question. A very hard fought match with Swift. Got a big win, but in big matches, that track record's been mixed. And that's a hurdle that you have to figure out how to get over. So maybe we can look at this August rush, and certainly what happens here on the 31st is I don't want to say it's make or break for you, because obviously, look, you're going to carry on. You got a big win today, but there is a point to eventually where you want to be. You've talked about for the past 9 months, you want to be the GOAT of BYW, the king of the West. But you got to now perform. You got to put your brother in his place. You got to go out there in a street fight, in an environment that you do best in, an environment you always win. You got to go out there and show your brother. You got to show him who's the older brother, who's the bigger brother, who's the better brother, who's the brother that has paved the way for you. You have to show him. And then August Rush here, you've got a match where
Here we go.
a lot has been said. Both of you have said a lot. And a lot of people are obviously going to be watching it. A lot of people are going to certainly be looking forward to seeing what happens here. And I think that this is going to be a moment that you've been waiting for. And I think other people have been waiting for to watch as well.
It is a ginormous moment that I have been waiting for. The date, August 31st in Comatose's history, is going to be remembered for quite a while, because not only do I face Aaron Blaze, the headline, the trailblazer, the jet riding, wheelin' dealin', whatever the hell he wants to call himself, I have to face him in a dream match for my interpromotional title. And I am ready for it, ladies and gentlemen. And despite what the haters want to say, despite what the reviews and what the poll ratings are showing, me being the underdog in this match, I have never been one to come and play games. With Aaron Blaze, it is not going to be anything but the same. You see, Aaron is one of those guys that talks a lot of game. But then when it comes, as he's shown since he's been here, he cannot get it done. And you know what? While maybe Comatose has been choking recently, at least Comatose in BTW does not have a losing track record. Comatose has come over and gone over hurdles. I was a triple champion by the time by this time last year, Aaron. And what you do and what you have always done every single time you talk about me is you undermine me. You talk all this shit. You say this. You say that. But like Tom said, on the 31st, when it comes down to it, you're going to have to perform. Just like every time me and you face off one-on-one to see who's better on the mic, you're going to have to perform. Just like any single time you perform from here on out in BYW, you're going to have to perform, because if you lose to me at August Rush, the only thing that is going to be lurking over you like a shadow is the fact that Comatose was right the entire time.
I've said you both need this win. You both need this because you both ultimately haven't won the BTW championship. I would point out that he did defeat Blackout. He does have a victory over Blackout, and that is something that has dogged you because you obviously didn't win the BTW championship. So he has certainly had his moments in BTW, but this is a moment, and we're going to remember August 31st, I guess, for your career for a long time, because people always go back and they say, remember the Alamo, and they always go in certain days that people, they live on. You know, you're a Hulk Hogan fan, you think about January 23rd, 1984, and Hulk Hogan goes and takes the WWF Championship then at the time in Madison Square Garden from the Iron Sheik. People always remember November 9th, 1997, the Montreal Screwjob between Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels, where the bell is rung and there was no tap out from Bret the Hitman Hart. Shawn Michaels has Bret Hart's very own hold on him. People remember all these different dates in wrestling history. July 6, 1998. Goldberg beats Hollywood Hulk Hogan in the Georgia Dome for the WCW. I mean, we can go up and down the list in wrestling history. In your career, you could make this case that, listen, August 31st, I mean, this is what you've wanted. You've wanted this. You've got it. And you even got Aaron Blaze to finally agree to want to compete for your championship that you've held for 17 months. It'll be over 17 months come August 31st. And I mean, this is really, I would say it's Judgment Day. I think this is Judgment Day here coming up.
It is absolutely Judgment Day. That would be August 31st. It is a moment in history that I will never forget. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I've never beaten Alex Ryder at any of the Warfare shows that we've ever had. So if I were to beat him at this Warfare, that would just be one thing that I could add to another long list of accomplishments on that list. But then you got not just a dream match, but the dream match of 2025. Comatose versus Aaron Blaze. If I am the one to get that victory in that first ever matchup, if I am the one to defeat a person that runs around calling himself a headline, You know what?
What?
It should be cause for celebration, Tom. It should be cause for celebration. These gentlemen have the opportunity to take this championship and rub it in my face and tell me that Comatose, you were not good enough on August 31st. So you want to know what I want, Tom?
What?
I want a celebration for Comatose. If Comatose does the impossible on my Justin Parsley, why not put him in the Hall of Fame again just to rub it in both of their
Well, I
faces?
tell you what, if I'm alive on August 31st, because I want to remind people that we are getting a tooth implant, and who really knows with these dentists and doctors these days, really,
If these
who knows?
dentists and doctors kill you, you need to send out the Addy live so we can all come to
Well, you know, it's
them.
just to change topics real quick. We'll come back to this because I want to go back into Aaron Blaze for a minute. But I do a show in news, and my co-host who's been on here, Heshi Tischler, we had a laugh about this because we pre-recorded our show today, and we were talking. We left the show, and I was telling him, I gotta go to the dentist, and they want to do this, and I don't know if I'm gonna come back. And then he's like, why don't we just do it on our show? And I was like, well, we're gonna do it on my show though. No, we'll do it. I'll even do it for you because he famously pulled out a tooth of his. He's a crazy guy, and he's even more crazy than me. And he's like, no, we'll do it on our show, and we'll get because we have like 10,000 listeners on a radio station with three of
Yeah.
them. But yeah, obviously, so who knows? But listen, Aaron Blaze and you have had a lot of back and forth today. You talked about who you faced. He talked about who he's faced. You went out there and talked about different things. He's talked about different companies he's been to. You've talked about your return to the yard. You've talked about just what this match means to you. He obviously spoke about his side of the story. You spoke about your side of the story. But really, this back and forth going into a match like this, does this benefit you or does this hinder you? Because I have seen a common theme, at least in the chat, is that you have your hands full in different places in the cookie jar. And a guy like Aaron Blaze, this is a big match for you. You talked about the fact you've wrestled RJS. He's been a fan of his. He talked about wrestling Jack Delta. You've talked about your history there following Jack Delta. You talked about some of the different names on BTW TV in the backyard that you followed. So really, I mean, Aaron Blaze, he's the headline. He's going to look at it and say, well, I'm here. I showed up. I made it. A lot of people didn't think I would come here. A lot of people didn't think that it would really happen. And he may not have as much to prove as you do because he talked about the fact he has consecutively been here in the yard for 7 years. It is well documented your sabbatical from the backyard circuit. It was almost 5 years. So do you have more to prove here coming up on the 31st of August, or does Aaron Blaze have more to prove?
Well, it depends on what aspect you want to talk about it. If we're talking about it as a entire whole in the BYW community, absolutely I have more to prove. Because Aaron Blaze has beaten those names. I'm not at all knocking Aaron Blaze's accomplishments. I'm not knocking where he's been. I'm not knocking who he's fought. I'm just simply saying this. As I've said before to many of my opponents, this is nothing new to me. This is another day in the office. But what they don't seem to get through their heads is that when they spout off all of these names, like, this is the same tactic that RJS used last year. And we
Yep.
all saw how,
Yep.
and we all saw how that went. You
Yep.
see, and I'm going to remind Aaron Blaze, just like I reminded RJS last year, none of those names spell the name Comatose. None of those people have a belt called the Interpromotional Championship that proves that I am numero uno in the yard. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I am. People get lost in the sauce all the time because they are biased for their specific region of backyard wrestling. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. I have the Interpromotional Championship for the best backyard wrestling company in the yard. What are we questioning here? If I beat Aaron Blaze, it's the same thing as when I beat RJS. Me enhancing my legacy. And I
That
do
may
have
be
more to
so.
prove.
Listen, and that's why people should want to go out there and watch BTW. And I'm going to put the BTW YouTube link up here in a minute. But listen, you say a lot, and I'm with you. Listen, you know I love BTW. You know, you guys come on here. We love what you're doing. It's great. But he's gone out there and wrestled guys that a lot more people on my platform know. I mean, the
Oh yeah,
guys you mentioned in BTW, yes, I think you know Swift and certainly RJS and BES, another guy you wrestled before that used to be here with the JF initials. Yes, you didn't bring him up, but I understand why. But you've had some really big matches, but he's a guy, Aaron Blaze, that he transcends in a lot of ways, like some guys that come on here that yes, the BTW fans, I would agree with you. The BTW fans, they might know Comatose's work maybe more so than Aaron Blaze. But what Aaron Blaze has an advantage of is that he has an advantage, like guys that come on here, such as Anthony Steele, such as James Taylor, such as Jason Storm, such as Omen Black, such as Justin Parsley, is that they transcend. They transcend not just one promotion, they transcend many promotions. And that's why sometimes he's been in these spots before. He's sure, I agree with you. The track record, wins and losses, you've probably got the better win percentage. I would probably agree with you on that. But he's also been in so many places, so many different environments. And I think that sometimes that may make him comfortable in a situation like this. He's used to back against the wall. Remember, he's coming into your company. He's done this in so many different places. So really, you've got to defend now your home turf. You've got to show the BTW fans that you're the guy here. You're the king of the West. You want to be the GOAT of BYW. And I'm with you. I love what you do. I love BTW. We love everybody that comes on here. But in Aaron Blaze, and again, there's a lot of people that like Aaron Blaze, a lot of people that don't like Aaron Blaze. But what Aaron Blaze does is that people go and they say, I know who he is. It's almost like if you go to the supermarket, right? And you go and you're looking for soda, which, you know, unfortunately, that's why I'm getting another root canal. People see Pepsi and Coke, right? They want to buy Pepsi and Coke because that's what they're familiar with. When they look at a name like Aaron Blaze, they go, I know him. Maybe they don't know every match he's wrestled, but they know his name. And that's why it might be more important for you to try to knock him off, because regardless of what he does, regardless of what he'll do in a company like BTW, he's an established name. He's a household name, like many of the names that come here on Sportswire. Many of those names, in many ways, it's the same thing. Whether Anthony Steele and Felix Jones do something, Anthony Steele will be back on here next week, and you know, he'll go on his merry way. James Taylor, he's James Taylor. You know, we have Jake Dvorak tomorrow. Jake Dvorak now just expanded his talents to Pennsylvania. There are certain guys, and Aaron Blaze, whether you like him or not, falls into that kind of category. So it's why I think in this matchup here, going into August 31st, I think you got more to prove here and
oh I
show
do.
that you can beat him. And then if you want to get back to where you'd want to be, which is a shot at that BTW championship next season, I think this is a must win.
I completely agree. I do need to win, and I would agree for the simple fact of the amount of shit that I have been talking. And I've talked, you know, Tom, if we rewind back a little bit with the
Sure,
history here on here on Sportswire,
definitely.
as you said, I've come here a while. And what did
You
I
have.
say before? What did I say before the season started? I said I need to talk less and make more action. And all you've been seeing Comatose is talk, 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 talk this entire time with Aaron Blaze. Why is that? Now you see, Comatose does that. Comatose is doing this rather because you're right. He is a staple name. He is a guy that has all these big wins. He is a guy that's been to all these companies and done all of these things. So I need to show him that anything that he can do, I can do just as good, if not better. And when me and him lock up for the first time in that ring, in BTW, in the main event of August Rush, I'm going to show him what the entire company has already known, that I'm also better than him at wrestling.
And I think that's going to be something very interesting to see is what you do in a match where it's been talked about for as long as it has been. It's a match that certainly has gotten personal. I think in some ways, look, you talked about you and RJS a lot last year, but I think this is a little different because I think there's more of a rivalry here. I think that there's more competition. Going back to sports, people used to look at the Knicks and the Bulls in the 90s, and they would look at, just the physicalness. They would look at just what these two teams in some ways were polar opposites, but in many ways, they always came to the same conclusion. NBA, Lakers and Spurs. Look at the Cavs and the Warriors. You look at football. You look at the RTGs here, 49ers and Rams for a couple years. You can go up and down the list of teams. Cowboys and 49ers once upon a time. And I think that right now,
Chicago Packers.
Well, when the Bears hopefully get a little bit better, but the point is that, yeah, let's hope. But the point is really what it comes down to is that you and him, this is more of a rivalry. And I think you've got an opportunity here coming up on the 31st to show people, hey, I am the GOAT of BYW. Hey, I am the king of the West. And BTW, this is my home. And I've established BTW as one of the premier promotions in the backyard circuit. And I've got a chance to show people, because there's going to be people, I'm sure, watching this match that may not always watch BTW. Yes, we have a lot of fans in BTW, but I think because of this match and because of the interest in it, the casual interest, there's going to be people that maybe they don't watch every Comatose match, but they're going to watch this one because it's going to be Comatose versus Aaron Blaze. And even if there wasn't a championship, there wouldn't be a championship needed to decide what this match means.
There would not need to be a championship whatsoever. The championship is simply just the cherry on the top, ladies and gentlemen, because the reason that I even put this championship on the line to begin with is because, let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, it's an inter-promotional championship. And for God's sakes, it's Comatose versus Aaron Blaze. If there has ever been a picture-perfect match in the history of the Interpromotional Championship, that would be it. And that is why I felt as if there could be no other way but to put this belt on the line. But regardless of the belt or not, it is simply this. It is two of the very best of their generation coming in the middle of the squared circle here in God's country, Roseburg, Oregon.
Yep, Roseburg, Oregon. Beautiful Roseburg, Oregon. You can see the trees. You can hear the train now. You can certainly hear that if you watch BTW shows. But yeah, listen, this is the quintessential definition of an interpromotional championship match. Aaron Blaze has traveled farther than anybody ever has. You think about where he is. He's almost right by my neck of the woods. He went from Pennsylvania all the way to where you are. He went there to prove a point. He went there to show everybody, you know what? Yes, guys like me can come west, can come and show that, you know what? I want to prove my talents in a different place. I want to try to bring people together. I want to go and try and show people, you know what? There is another promotion out west that has been doing a lot of great things, and he is here for those reasons. You're obviously here also. So you know what? This is my home. BTW brought me back. I came back here 5 years from a 5-year sabbatical in the backyard circuit. I'm the man. I was a triple champion last year, and I want to get back to the mountain to get back another shot. And again, both you guys have a lot to prove. And if you want to go support BTW, please hit the sub button for them. I see Yoshi Matsuda. I will definitely get him on very soon in the next few days. And he wanted to say he's Matsuda Ryu approved. Yep, goats acknowledging goats. Yep. And hello. Yep, keep ruling them. Yep, definitely do that. We'll see him here very shortly. TPW's Mr. Rocky himself, Aaron Blaze, ain't got nothing on Comatose. So you heard it there from TPW. That's Rocky is coming out there. He's just going straight to the point there. Well, I don't think you have to worry about putting Chocotose into the Hall of Fame because he'll choke in one of the two matchups. Well, RTG, well, apparently that's what he thinks.
Challenge accepted.
Well, we'll find out. August Rush, when the two biggest chokers in BTW meet in a match of the year candidate, at least in their minds. Which one will be the biggest choker and lose this match from RTG? And thank you, Rocky, for listening while you're in the shower. We appreciate that. Yes, we support Comatose as well. Thank you very much. And we do love Comatose on Sportswire. Ox McCoy also wants to remind you he's more like a bus riding Aaron Blaze. That's just he wants to point out. Bus riding, which he did.
One.
Well, that's certainly that. Hello, and by the way, where you are going to be wrestling on August 31st also, JRW is here. I'd like to point that out. We'd like to give them a nice little rub. Symphony X is a progressive metal band that is from Middletown, New Jersey, and they just celebrated their 30-year anniversary last year. Thank you, Ox, by the way. Yes, it's a great honor to have the band. They have almost 500,000 followers on Facebook, so really a major lift from my friend Alexander Ford. That's to Remy Roberts. Who else we got here? Yeah, definitely. Yep, loyal. Hello to Jay. Yeah, I see where this is going. Yeah, that'll be coming soon. Yeah, I see they're back and forth. Stay tuned. And they're going back and forth. Yeah, well, that's always fun. It's almost like doing the wave here again. But okay, all right. So obviously, look, you've spoke a lot about this match, and is this the biggest match of your career coming up?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm not going to be unprofessional. I'm not going to be unprofessional and downplay who Aaron Blaze is. This is without a doubt the biggest career in my entire. The biggest match in my entire career. But I don't want Aaron Blaze to get a big head either because it's not that much bigger than me and RJS. It's really not that much bigger. If we would like to also remind the history of RJS, he's a very, very similar guy to who Aaron Blaze is. He's a guy that has been to multiple different companies, fought multiple different legends of different federations, such as who's that one guy that Aaron says on his bucket list? Navon McDonald?
Navon McDonald, yep, Navon McDonald. Derek the Destroyer. Remember him?
Derek the Destroyer?
See, him?
And these guys, he's wrestled these guys. And what did Comatose do? Comatose ripped the poster off of Aaron Blaze's wall and tore it to shreds when he pinned him 1, 2, 3.
You did it multiple times. You have multiple victories over RGS. You beat Swift today. You spoke about that. You've also beaten a guy that was in the yard who winking a nod, a pro wrestling foot stomp. Remember him? You heard of him? He was referenced.
I remember that classic.
That name was referenced on Saturday's show, actually. Chase Wakefield just randomly blurted out pro wrestling foot stomp. I'm like, yeah, I got the reference. But no, you've had big matches. You've had big ones, but this
is the one. This is the one. And ladies and gentlemen, if Comatose doesn't win this match, it just goes to show that Aaron Blaze, everything that he has said, you know what? Maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe I am just a lot of hot air in a hot air balloon that has been rising for a long time, but now the air's starting to get cool. But if Comatose wins this match, I think it's about time that we all stop denying.
Well, there's going to be some people, I'll tell you this much before we get to closing this. There's going to be some people that come on the platform, that names that are been mentioned on here tonight. Maybe some of them have been in the chat. Some of them have not. Are going to say, yeah, I told you so. I told you so about Aaron Blaze. And, he hasn't won as many big matches as he claims. And they're going to go on and say, from their perspective, and they're going to say, you know what, Comatose beat him. And they're going to say, yeah, I told you so on that. I told you so because when he's been in certain other places, and that's kind of what was the story there. And they're going to reference where he is currently and where he's been. And they're going to say that. But if he wins, maybe then they'll say, you know what, Comatose, he talks a good game, but maybe he is Chocotose. Maybe he's still a ways away from being that guy on the top. Because you're right. You've got a lot of championships. You were a triple champion, promo wrestling. You're doing a great job. You're doing a lot of great things. But it's still not quite hoisting the BTW championship. It's still not quite And that's elusive. BTW, 3,000 plus subs, big following. A lot of people tune in a ring, big TikTok following. A lot of great things going for BTW, but you don't win here. It's Comatose is just he's further away from that championship than
I
really.
was.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to say. So the only thing we can really do here is tune in on August 31st. It's August Rush. It is BTW's latest go home show. It's their last show of the month, as they always do. And it'll be the main event for the Interpromotional Championship. It is Comatose, the GOAT of BYW, the King of the West, against the headline Aaron Blaze. Comatose is also in action here coming up later this weekend for TPW in a non-tag team championship match against the Gods. You can also see Comatose on JRW TV on their YouTube page against his brother Alex Ryder in a street fight. That's we will have to see all of that. I have no doubt that Comatose will say plenty, and no, definitely. I agree with Yoshi, and we will definitely say keep rising. And yeah, it's GOAT versus GOAT, and a lot to prove, certainly for Comatose. Aaron Blaze is certainly the headline. He's the trailblazer, and he's traveled to a lot of places. He's wrestling in places like DBW currently, and he talked about when he was on here, he had plans to be in the best in the yard, which, again, we spoke about earlier in the show, and just how big that's going to be. Sean Phoenix is going to be a part of that, and a lot of big names from the backyard that are going to be a part of Best in the Yard 6, and Nikki Choo Choo's here. He's back on August 26th, and a lot of big names and are part of that show, and Aaron Blaze is going to be a part of that. But we'll wind up seeing what else is ahead, and also August Rush is a must-see. Plans are slowly being laid out for next season as well, which shall be even better. Big plans to come, as always. I agree. I agree with all of that. That's why I'd like people to hit the sub button for BTW. Is there anything else you want to talk about here before closing thoughts? We pretty much had a lot to talk about. Talked about you in TPW really extensively for the first time. Talked about you at the Change of Fortune Championship. Talked about the Enterprise. Talked a lot about different things, different people in the chat. A lot of big names here tonight. Talked certainly a lot over the past half an hour about the August Rush, your match, the main event against Aaron Blaze, in a highly anticipated match throughout the backyard circuit. But is there anything else you want to discuss before closing thoughts?
That would be all that I could possibly think of, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, all you need to do is this. If you haven't seen it today, if you didn't tune in live, the groundwork, like the management has just said, is being laid out for August Rush. Me and Blaze just absolutely lit the entire show up in what is a very much a main event worthy segment. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it's just inevitable. TPW, you will see me and Dario Divine at the top of the food chain. You will see me holding championship gold and ruling at the top of TPW, as I have been foretelling the entire time since I've been here. There is really nothing I have new to say, but continue watching the success happen.
I'll tell you what, wins over Remy Roberts, wins over Vinny V and Nathaniel Rage, and we'll see if the winning streak continues against the Gods. The Enterprise are certainly united, and my friend Jerry Main is a part of your faction leading you guys, and I know Jerry Main. I've met the guy in real life and know him. He lives in my city, and in fact, I know where he works. I'm not even going to tell people where he works because that would be. I do. He told me about it off the air, but yeah, Jerry's a great guy, and Jerry's the only other guy that's got more wackier hair than I do, but I got more facial hair than him. But Brandon just followed you on Instagram, so there you go. Brandon gave you a follow, so there you go.
Heck yeah.
The DBW champion just followed you, and if you are here, do me a favor. Please hit the sub button for Brandon on his YouTube channel. I've been plugging it the entire night, so please go out there and check out his YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate that for me and everybody else that supports Brandon. So you can check it out. I'm going to plug it one more time because I see people in and out of the chat. because that's what we do. And also BTW Born to Wrestle 3. Please check them out. You can check them out on YouTube. You can check them out on TikTok, Instagram, all those platforms. tpublic.com. They got merchandise there. Check it out, buy it, and who knows? Maybe you'll get a discount. They usually discounts for sale. But yeah, there you go. There's Brandon's YouTube page. If there's somebody out there, give him another sub and join him on his journey, just like join Comatose on his journey. And he's got a lot of places we spoke about. And my friend, thank you as always. I appreciate what you do out there. Congratulations on the Change of Fortune Championship. Congratulations on the victory this past weekend here over Nathaniel Rage and Vinny V. And we'll see what you do on the 31st. Congratulations on today's win over Swift in a very, very hard-fought match. Please go out and watch that on the BTW YouTube channel. And we'll see you soon. I have no doubt. And we'll see if we put you in the Hall of Fame again. If you say what you're going to do on August 31st. You got 2 matches, and we'll see. RTG's put pressure on you, but something tells me guys like you might rise to the occasion. So we'll find out. But
we'll find out.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in here to tonight's Sportswire radio show. And if you're out here, good morning on the East Coast. And also, if you're out there in the UK, good morning as well. But we were here with Comatose, who's the reigning defending BYW Interpromotional Champion, going on 17 months. He's also the TPW Change of Fortune Champion. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, with all music and wrestling matters. I'll be here at 8 o'clock tomorrow night with Jake Dvorak. We'll see some others here coming up later this week. Yoshi Matsuda, I'm sure we'll see him. We'll also see the likes of the band Symphony X bass player Mike Lapon. The IMF will be here as well on Thursday. And I'll see Magnum Carter as well from YBW on Friday. So a lot of stuff, a lot of names. Thank you, everybody here. Please hit the sub button for all these great companies. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one, Global Radio, the Sportswire Radio, where all music and wrestling rise. Have a great night, everybody.